Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. This is a story about a fine young girl who conquered almost the impossible. Please sit back and enjoy. Helen Keller is a name of fame known around the world. You could say her name anywhere and people will know who she is, as she is a woman that has done great things to help many people and perhaps overcome the impossible. Helen was born June 27, 1880, in Tuscumbia, Alabama. She was born like any other child of her time, without any problems. But when she was only 19 months old, she contracted a fever that ended up leaving her blind and deaf. Her parents, Adam Keller and Kate Adams Keller, engaged Anne Mansfield Sullivan to be her tutor. But even before this, Helen was able to communicate with the family cook's daughter, Martha Washington, who was only age 6.
Helen and Martha were able to communicate through 60 different home signs, which is like sign language but not a complete language.
With the Kellers looking for a way to educate Helen, they turned to Alexander Bell, who was working with the deaf, and Michael Anagnos, who was the head of a blind school in Boston.
Alex, Michael, I need some help educating my child, Helen, for she is not only deaf, but blind. Alex, I know you work with the deaf, and Michael, I know you have your school in Boston that teaches the blind. So we are wondering if one of you, or maybe someone else, could help educate her.
I am no help to you, as I specialize in teaching deaf children. In Helen's case, certainly is not a challenge that I can accept. It is more for a teacher of the blind than a teacher of the deaf.
I think I can help educate Helen, but it will not be an easy task. Let me refer you to a student of mine who is also visually impaired and is very bright. 20-year-old Anne. By 1887, Anne Sullivan arrived at the Keller's household and started teaching Helen the way that Anne learned herself.
B-A-L-L. B-A-L-L. Ball. B-A-L-L.
Eventually, Helen figured out what Anne was spelling. Over time, Anne went on to teach Helen even harder things. Perhaps the hardest thing was water.
W-A-T-E-R. W-A-T-E-R. Water. Come on, Helen, water.
In May 1888, Anne and Helen went to Boston to attend Perkins Institute for the Blind, where Anne and Helen started their friendship. Helen met many other blind kids at Perkins Institute, and she was very happy to be among people similar to her who also communicated through touching and braille.
In 1890, Helen began speech classes at the Horace Mann School for the Deaf in Boston. It would take her 25 years before she could learn to speak so that others could understand her. From 1894 to 1896, she attended the Wright Humanson School of the Deaf in New York City. There she worked on improving the communication skills that she started at the Horace Mann School for the Deaf. Helen's story became a source of national media as the world learned about her when she attended the Cambridge School for Young Ladies. Here she was introduced to the author Mark Twain. Twain was so taken back by Helen that he introduced her to a family friend, Henry H. Rogers. Rogers, a wealthy oil executive, was so impressed with her that he agreed to pay for her education at Radcliffe College.
Henry, it's nice to see you again. This is the girl I was telling you about, Helen Keller.
It's nice to meet you, Helen. My name is Henry.
Hello.
She's really a remarkable girl.
Yes, she is. I wish there was some way I could help her. Does she have any plans on going to college? With Anne's help in 1900, Helen was able to go to Radcliffe College. While there, she worked on the school newspaper. This helped Helen on her start to becoming an influential person because, also deaf and blind, she was able to succeed at Radcliffe. She was now able to communicate through Braille, touch lip reading, and typing or fingerspelling. This is how Helen wrote her first book, The Story of My Life.
Helen is also known for her political views, and she is remembered as a suffragist, a pacifist, an opponent of Woodrow Wilson, a radical socialist, and a birth control supporter. She openly expressed her opinion on women's suffrage and opposed child labor and capital punishment. In 1916, Helen angered her parents by sending a $100 donation and a letter of support to the National Association for the Advancement of Colored People. She even joined the Socialist Party, and the FBI even kept track of her activities. Helen believed that poverty was the root of suffering and inequity. Helen's views took place of many women in her time looking to end women's suffrage. She truly took advantage of free speech in saying how she felt about timely issues, once even to Congress. She also opposed industrial oppression, speaking out in many occasions, which fits into the general issues of her time. Helen Keller's death was due to natural causes. She went to sleep and never woke up on June 1st, 1968. She has had a series of strokes since a couple of years ago prior, which is also believed to be the cause of her death.
Henry, it's good to see you. This is the girl I was telling you about.
It's nice to
Helen
meet you,
Keller.
Helen. My name is Henry.
You have to sign it.
Henry, it's nice to see you. This is the girl I was telling you about.
Nice to meet you, Helen.
Yeah. Henry, it's nice to see you. This is the girl I was telling you about, Helen Keller. Henry, it's nice to see you again. This is the girl I was telling you about, Helen Keller.
It's nice to meet you, Helen. My name is Henry.
Hello.
Hello.
By 1887, Anne Sullivan.
We'll see. Kids were blind. She's just drawing lines.
Oi, Nathan! Maka, maka, maka.